Today we're going to walk through endochondral ossification. So endochondral ossification, which is the production of bone, right? So we're making bone. And then when you look at endo, think in. If you chondra, you think cartilage. So we're making bone from cartilage, okay? So very, very early on, so probably around the time that your mom found out that she was pregnant with you, your bone, and it's just going to be drawn like a dog's bone here, okay, is already made up of hyaline cartilage. Okay, so what we referred to are the cartilage model. Okay, and at that point, the chondrocytes have done their work. They've been making all sorts of cartilage. They've built up the structure, and it's built the way that it's meant to be built. At that point, right, my chondrocytes are going to get really large here in the center, or in that diaphysis. So the chondrocytes are going to swell. And then they're ultimately going to die, okay? So they're going to go through apoptosis, they're going to die, okay? So what replaces them? So inside that same hyaline model, we now, instead of having chondrocytes, we are now going to have osteoblasts, okay? So my osteoblasts are going to go in there. And as we know, osteoblasts build bones. So they're going to lay down osteoid first. And then they're eventually going to become osteocytes. And so in this area, as it's building up this area, we refer to this area as the primary ossification site. However, that primary ossification site is missing one key detail at this point. And what that is an artery. So what comes in, we're going to have our main artery comes in. So the artery is going to invade. And so now we have blood that is able to support this growing new bone. And so that primary ossification site, with now it's got the blood, it's got the osteoblasts and everything, and it's going to eventually become osteocytes. And so now my primary ossification center is going to be like here in the center in the diaphysis. It's going to start as spongy bone. And so we're going to take that spongy bone and we're going to remodel it. So it's going to get remodeled by osteoclasts, breaking things down, so taking down some of the trabeculae, and osteoblasts building up those osteons and those concentric lamellae, so that now we have a true compact bone here in the center. Okay. What happens next, right, is we have to worry about these end pieces here, right? So if I'm looking at my bone, right, I've made my compact bone. And now we're going to start creating this. We're going to have the same process here in the ends of the bone, or the epiphysis. So we've got our chondrocytes, they're going to swell and die, and they're going to be replaced with osteoblasts. And we refer to this as our secondary ossification sites. So we see them here and here. And just like we saw before, we still have blood vessels that are going to come in to support the growth, okay? But unlike the primary ossification site that goes through remodeling, the secondary does not, okay? So my bone ends like this, where I've got, At the ends, I've got spongy on top. So in my epiphysis, I have spongy bone. In the center, I have compact bone. And then in between them, so in the metaphysis, we still have cartilage. That cartilage is going to, as you grow, have the chondrocytes grow and then die, and have osteoblasts fill in the space, grow and die, fill in the space. And so these are often what we refer to as growth plates. And so they sort of persist throughout your life. Another thing that persists throughout your life is that the spongy bone doesn't completely, in the secondary ossification center, fill all of the cartilage. So we do still have some cartilage around the outside called articular cartilage, which is going to be that cartilage that we find in our joints that protect us as we're moving. Anyway, I hope this helps you guys walk through the different stages of endochondral ossification.